Hey, everybody. This is Conversations on Christianity, and I'm Raymond Harrison, the Growth and Outreach Leader at Christ Our Savior Evangelical Lutheran Church in St. Augustine, Florida. All right, so it's Advent time for the church, but for the rest of the world, it's Christmas time. So we're gonna do another Christmas video. This one would be the whole, I don't know how you want to word the question or conversation, whatever, but it's basically the whole Santa Claus, Christmas trees, mistletoe, those kind of stuff. Um, sorry. So the big thing is, like, Santa Claus isn't something that like Christians imported into Christmas. Um, it was, I mean, there's more history to this, but I mean, basically, it's from a story from an author that Coca-Cola like ran with and like did like some promotional pictures and advertisement stuff for, and it really blew up and like spread around the world, like, but it was never like Christians never really associated it with 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 Christmas. Like Santa Claus is just, honestly, it's just a fun thing that we do in modern times. um so like there's a whole thing, it's like, oh, it's like blah 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 blah, Christians incorporated Santa Claus was from this or that, when it's like, no, we really didn't. There is some historical like basis for the character of Santa Claus from Saint Nicholas of Morea or Maya, however, from like he was a bishop, and it was in like third, early fourth century that he was a bishop, and very little is known of him, but like he was a bishop, we know that. He may have got in a fist fight with Arius, but like, so if that happened, that's kind of like how he became like a folklore hero for Christians, and then later on, again, way later on into like the 18th century, when I can't remember the author's name, but there's an author who made up like this Dutch story about Santa Claus, so Santa Claus, and then like I said, then Coca-Cola did an advertisement campaign, and it just took off from there. But I mean, like, there's no like Christian appropriation of that. It was just a way later on thing. So let's get that one out of the way. That's the easy one. Um, the whole Christmas tree thing is like, oh, Christians also appropriated Christmas trees from pagan holidays, and it's like, again, not really. Like, nobody truly knows where this myth of like even the pagans, like pagans really didn't, like the Druids of England and or Scotland, whatever, were celebrating this stuff. It's like, no, it's not a thing. Like, or if it is, there's nearly no records of it. Like, nobody really knows where the whole Christmas thing came from. But I mean, like the earliest records of like Christmas trees and this and that is like the 16th century, where people will like started making them in their house to decorate, to like, have like fresher, clean air, like good smelling, fresh air in a home during winter times. But I mean, even that's like scarce to find, but then like a bit after the 16th century, especially closer to like modern times in like the 18th and 19th centuries, when the Christmas tree, where like how we decorate it now and stuff, really came about. So, and some of this stuff that we do now, like, honestly, it's just for fun. Like, it it really has no deep meaning. Christians aren't trying to, appropriate it to like point to Christ and stuff like that. It's a lot of it is just fun, traditional family tradition fun, not Christian tradition, family tradition. It just really, really like blew up. Like the Christmas tree really became popular. Like I said, like in late 18th, 19th century. We have records of it in the 16th century, but it became popular in the 18th, 19th century. And honestly, like a big part of that is just for most of the world, the northern world, and the northwestern hemisphere and world, it's like winters get very dreary and like almost depressing. So like bringing in this tree that's like pine trees that stay green for a good while and smell good and help keep the air clean, it's like yay, like that's a win. So like people started bringing them in to have you know a little greenery when everything else is like white and dreary outside. And then in the late 18th, 19th century, when we started like decorating them, did it like really take off and become popular, and what we got now, where everybody likes decorating Christmas trees. So it's not, it really is no big conspiracy of like Christians, appropriating pagan stuff and like to get rid of it. It's like no, it's just for fun. There's no there's nowhere in the Bible that commands this or that. And honestly, like the way that we use the Christmas tree, there's no prohibition against it either in the Bible. Like there is a prohibition against like using like cider trees to worship ancient gods, back in the Hebrew days and even the early Christian days. But this isn't that. We're not sacrificing this or that to Asherah for with cedar trees and this and that. Like that's not happening. We're not. Nobody is conflating the Christmas tree to that. Not nowadays. I mean, it it really is just commercial tradition fun. Like companies can make a buck or two with Christmas trees and decorating. Families like have unique special times decorating it and putting it up. And like we did, we have our Christmas tree up and had the kids put it together. It was a lot of fun. They enjoyed it. We enjoy it. And like that's all this is. Like for real. Like a lot of these modern Christian Christmas traditions are just family traditions that spread a lot. The big true like Christian thing is it's the early on in in the first and second century, like they started celebrating Jesus's birth around Christmas time, really around like the time of the festival of Booth. For the Jewish tradition of the festival of Booth is very early on when the Christians, you know, associated that with the birth of Christ, which is a fall winter celebration. And then by the early third century, it was marked that December 25th was probably when Jesus was born, since it was widely known that Jesus died on March 25th, and there's a tradition that people died the day that they were conceived. So if he died on March 25th, 9 months afterwards, December 25th. So very early on, that's why December 25th was picked. It wasn't to appropriate any pagan holidays or this or that. It's just timing. I mean, and honestly, like December 25th is, historically speaking, with historical records from a bunch of different ancient religions, 25th was nothing. No pagan holiday has records of pointing to the 25th until Christians came around and were like, "Yep, this is when we're pretty sure he was born, so we're gonna celebrate. We're gonna make this the day that we celebrate Jesus' birth, his incarnation." But before they settled on that day, it was a lot more closely associated with the festival of booths. So like the three big festivals for the Jewish religion back then was Passover. After Passover, 50 days afterwards was Pentecost. That's the second big festival. And then the third big festival was the Festival of Booths. So those three festivals had very close ties to what very early Christians associated with Christ. So obviously Passover is also the time where Jesus dies and was resurrected. He ascended into heaven on Pentecost or near Pentecost. So Pentecost is the next big one, and then again, Festival of Booths, which was close to wintertime festival. They associated that with Jesus' birth. So the big thing, honestly, about all this is just have fun with it. It's just fun family traditions that we're doing with the Christmas tree, Santa Claus, all this. As long as it's just for fun and it's not taken away from the real true reason of the season, which is Christ. Christ was incarnate. He came and was born. He was born of the Virgin. But like history points, the evidence of history shows that Jesus really existed. There's a big push now, modern times, there's a big push that like, oh, Jesus was born in the springtime. Who cares? Honestly, they just picked a day. They had their reasons for picking that day, but early Christians, very early Christians in nearly the first century, this definitely by the second century, and were celebrating his birth in the wintertime. Third century, they finalized that day. And since then we've been celebrating December 25th for Christmas. So let's just have fun with it, everybody. Thank you for liking, sharing, watching the videos. We're on YouTube now, so subscribe. All of it helps. This series has like gotten bigger than I hoped. It's still really small, I get that, but it's growing. So every like, share, just viewing it helps dramatically. Subscribing really helps. YouTube loves people subscribing, and plus I'll give you notifications when I put up new videos. So please subscribe. If not, just like it, share it. This will be posted on the church Facebook page as well. So if you're on Facebook, check out our church Butch page, and if you're available Sunday at 10 a.m., join us for service. So thank you again, everybody. And until next time, let's keep the conversation going.